Have you ever wondered why some people just seem to, effortlessly hit these massive goals while the rest of us are left completely struggling? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving right into how structured systems, environmental cues, and what we call extreme agency actually engineer success at literally every level of our lives. We're going to see that achievement, it isn't just about raw willpower or having natural talent, it's really about the architecture you build around yourself.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at process over outcome goals. Then, the habit stacking method. After that, the power of commitment contracts, followed by the rise of AI wellness overlords. And finally, cultivating extreme agency.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, Process over Outcome Goals. It's time to rethink how we aim. We're all pretty familiar with SMART goals, right? But here's the fundamental problem. Chasing a highly specific outcome, like say adding 10 pounds to your bench press, actually ties your success to factors that are entirely out of your control. And honestly, that just induces a ton of anxiety. Process-based goals, on the other hand, are totally different. If you aim to train just one extra day per week, that is completely within your control. You either do it or you don't. Simple as that. By focusing on these process goals, you actually learn to enjoy the practice itself. It creates this amazing positive feedback loop. When you learn to love the practice, just showing up, rain or shine, becomes the real victory. You actually stop stressing over whether you broke a personal record today, and instead you take immense pride in simply putting in the work. Moving right along to Section 2, the habit stacking method, where we look at building on what works.
Okay, the science behind this is absolutely fascinating. Through neuroplasticity, your brain physically changes its shape in response to your behavior. It's wild. If you repeat an action, the neural connections literally get stronger. And at the exact same time, through something called synaptic pruning, your brain clears out unused connections to save energy. This is the biological secret behind why hard things eventually feel completely automatic.
So how exactly do we hack this biology? Well, habit stacking. You basically take an existing automatic habit and use it as a cue for a new behavior, completely bypassing the need for raw motivation. Look, if you already brush your teeth every single morning like clockwork, just stack the new habit right on top. Like, after I brush, I floss. Simple? Yeah, absolutely. But it's profoundly effective because you're piggybacking on deeply established neural real estate.
That brings us to Section 3, the power of commitment contracts. Let's talk stakes and accountability.
But hey, what happens when that internal motivation inevitably fails? Enter Stick K. Created by Yale economists Dean Carlin and Ian Ayers, this platform relies on the pretty brutal behavioral truth of loss aversion. Basically, the fact that we humans hate losing things way more than we like gaining them. They discovered that signing a literal commitment contract and actually putting your own hard-earned money on the line virtually forces you to succeed.
Check out these numbers. When you combine a human referee with the very real threat of losing your own money, success rates absolutely skyrocket to 87%. And here's the sheer genius of it all. That money is often set up to go to an anti-charity, meaning an organization or maybe a rival sports team that you strongly despise. The psychological pain of funding your worst enemy is so incredibly intense, it practically forces you to stick to your goals.
Now, human referees and financial stakes are incredibly powerful for sure, but it makes you wonder, what happens when the accountability partner living in your pocket is an AI?
Let's explore that in Section 4. Enter AI wellness overlords. Welcome to the age of integrated intelligence. The quote here says the industry is moving towards the theme of integrated intelligence. And honestly, that's exactly what's happening right now. Fitness apps like Strava, Whoop, and Peloton, they're no longer just counting your daily steps. They are ingesting massive amounts of biometric data to act as an operating system for your entire day. They're tracking your sleep, your stress levels at your desk, your heart rate variability. It is the ultimate environmental cue system. By leveraging generative AI, these platforms completely take the guesswork out of the equation. They summarize your performance, they give you live feedback, and they literally build your optimal system for you. You really don't have to plan anymore. The integrated intelligence tells you exactly when you should push yourself to the limits, and just as importantly, exactly when you should probably just stay in bed. Now let's zoom out to Section 5, Cultivating Extreme Agency. We're looking at the Palantir Talent Factory. Okay, let's look at how all this works at a macro level, specifically inside a tech giant like Palantir. Instead of relying on rigid traditional corporate ladders, they give their early career professionals extreme ownership. They use these forward-deployed engineers, core technical staff who are dropped directly on-site with clients. And their job? To creatively shape amorphous, highly complex software into custom solutions for what seem like totally impossible challenges. Now, just to survive this environment, candidates undergo these incredibly intense decomp interviews. Picture being asked to optimize the elevator banks in a massive skyscraper right on the spot. They are meticulously selecting for people who can handle continuous, multi-layered emergencies. The absolutely required traits here are low ego and high ops tempo. It's all about having a relentless bias toward action, without ever waiting for someone to hand you a step-by-step manual.
By packing their culture with these mission-driven, high-agency learning machines, Palantir has actually, almost inadvertently, become a founder factory. Get this, roughly 10% of their alumni go on to build their very own companies. When you force highly capable people into a system that constantly demands extreme creative problem-solving, you are literally training them to build their own systems of success. It's like a boot camp for founders.
Now, Palantir is certainly a polarizing entity in the public eye, depending on who you ask. But if we're looking strictly and impartially at the mechanics of their culture, they attract this immense talent density by paying their employees in mission, meaning the chance to solve world-class problems at crucial institutions. It really proves that a compelling mission, when paired with extreme ownership, creates a wildly powerful engine for human performance. Which brings us to our final section, the architecture of achievement. Let's bring it all together.
Think about it. From the synaptic pruning happening inside your brain right now, to putting financial stakes on the line with Stick K, all the way up to extreme corporate agency, the underlying mechanism is totally identical. Success is not random, it's engineered. So I want to leave you with this. How can you decouple your effort from the outcome today? What new habits can you start stacking? What personal stakes can you put in place? Are you relying on the anxiety of the outcome, or are you building the ultimate system for your success? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.